Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Today's presenters are Dr. Erin O'Connor Marsano and doctoral candidate Tauni Grossklas from Baylor University. This presentation focuses on innovative approaches to teaching and learning high school and undergraduate content area literacy.
The purpose of this presentation is to discuss content area literacy and introduce innovative, learner-centered approaches to promote content-specific literacy. By the end of this presentation, participants will have a better understanding of how to enhance literacy using research-based best practices to support improved learning outcomes. This presentation has 3 objectives. The first objective is to define literacy and explain traditional teacher-centered approaches used in upper grade and undergraduate content area instruction. The second objective is to differentiate between teacher-centered and learner-centered strategies to support improved content area literacy. The third objective is to create innovative, learner-centered lessons that expand students' literacy skills within content area instruction.
Today, we will delve into the what, why, and how of the following topics: defining literacy and content literacy, traditional approaches to instruction, innovative approaches to teaching and learning, incorporating innovative strategies to support content area literacy, and then our wrap-up and giveaway. Let's begin.
In current research, there is not one unifying definition of literacy. Literacy can have multiple meanings and is context and culture specific. One example of a holistic definition is from the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization 2018. Literacy is defined as the ability to identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, and compute using printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy context can change, meaning that a person could have cultural literacy, technological literacy, financial literacy, civic literacy, or many other types of literacy. With this in mind, it is important to understand that there are underlying skills necessary to be literate. These are the ability to read, write, speak, and listen in a specific language and culture. Literacy develops in stages and progresses on a continuum throughout life. Learners progress through the continuum, which helps them navigate and participate in their community, culture, and society which they are a part of. Keefe et al. 2011 shares that all people are capable of acquiring literacy skills and that literacy is considered a human right. All teachers have the responsibility to support students in progressing on their literacy continuum, regardless of grade level and content area being taught. Opportunities to develop literacy should be embedded in daily content-specific activities. Teachers in every content area and grade level have the collective responsibility to support literacy development. Teachers must develop the knowledge and skills to support literacy development for students in different stages of literacy development. Content area literacy is essential for upper grade and undergraduate students' success. The International Literacy Association 2017 defines content area literacy as the process where students comprehend, interpret, compose, and revise discipline-specific texts and ideas. In all fields of study, there are several content-specific words that are imperative for students to understand and be able to apply and use to become literate in the language of the field. For example, in the field of biology, if a student does not know the meaning of an allele and allele frequency, then the student will likely have a more difficult time applying the Hardy-Weinberg principle. In geometry, if a student is struggling with the difference between congruent and complementary angles, they are likely going to be less successful in completing two-column or paragraph proofs. In U.S. history, if a student is unable to differentiate the roles, responsibilities, and powers of the three branches of government, they will experience difficulty recognizing imbalances of power according to federal and state constitutions. Additionally, in economics, if a student is unable to explain the relationship between supply, demand, and price, they will struggle to comprehend other essential principles of microeconomics, such as scarcity and shortages, and their short and long-term implications. Furthermore, if students are struggling with basic concepts in the field, they will also have a more difficult time comprehending, writing, and conversing about content area topics. For students to build strong content-specific literacy, faculty must provide opportunities for students to develop and practice the skills required to become literate in a specific field of study. This means providing opportunities to understand, comprehend, interpret, use, apply, and compose content-specific language.
Traditional approaches to teaching primarily consist of teacher-centered instruction, rote pedagogical practices, and direct transmission of information. For example, this is similar to the experiences of many students in civics-related courses due to increased emphasis on high-stakes standardized testing. As a result, instructors are obligated to direct their focus on content to prepare students to pass standardized assessments, which primarily focus on the who, what, when, and where, as opposed to delving into the how and why, which are critical to developing a comprehensive understanding of subject area content. Content area literacy is a crucial aspect of modern education, and teachers play a critical role in enhancing it. By prioritizing content area literacy and utilizing innovative approaches to teaching and learning, educators can equip their students with the knowledge and skills required to become well-informed and thoughtful 21st century citizens. This, in turn, can help individuals make informed decisions, be more engaged in their communities, and contribute positively to society. The following innovative approaches to teaching and learning can improve employability, literacy, engagement, collaboration, equity, and access. Incorporating virtual reality or VR technology into instruction and formative assessment. Utilizing ChatGPT features on learning platforms to enhance student ownership over their learning and to create customized learning experiences. Using social media platforms to provide students with mini lessons to enhance learning and close learning gaps. Social media can also connect learning to students' lives and personal experiences. Planning interactive lessons using online platforms to increase student engagement. Providing students with special needs with access to artificial intelligence or AI-assistive technology, such as passage read-alouds, increases equity and accessibility. Utilizing 3D printing allows students to examine historical artifacts, models of human organs, architecture, or maps to study the topography of a particular region, and more. 3D printing can be applied across content areas to increase engagement and hands-on learning experiences. Last, incorporating interactive presentation and assessment software can increase student engagement and is a fun and easy way to conduct formative assessment.
The science of reading is a comprehensive, interdisciplinary body of research that encompasses collective knowledge from many fields, including science, neurology, education, and developmental and educational psychology. This collective body of knowledge, known as the science of reading, has demonstrated the skills required to help students progress through the stages of literacy development. Frameworks like Scarborough's rope outline specific literacy skills that are required to master skilled reading. Hollis-Scarborough suggests that there are two main skill sets required to reach skilled reading, including language comprehension and word recognition. Language comprehension includes background knowledge, vocabulary development, language structures, verbal reasoning, and literacy knowledge. Word recognition includes phonological awareness, decoding, and sight recognition. A majority of upper grade level and undergraduate students come with foundational literacy skills and word recognition skills. However, when entering into specific upper level content areas, language comprehension skills like content-specific vocabulary, content-specific language structures, and background knowledge of key concepts and frameworks is likely to be limited or unknown altogether. We can build from the science of reading research to create opportunities to include innovative strategies to support content area literacy. We will discuss several strategies to support improved content area literacy. The following strategies can support improved content area literacy. We will provide a set of strategies using a history and science example. The strategies address vocabulary development, development of verbal reasoning, and building background knowledge, and bridging that to new learning. While we will begin with a history example using the United States Constitution, keep in mind these strategies can be utilized in any upper-level content area subject. For this example, we will use the preamble of the United States Constitution. The preamble reads, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." While upper grade and undergraduate students likely have a clear idea of the purpose of the U.S. Constitution, breaking down the meaning of the preamble, articles, and amendments may prove difficult because language in 1787 was different than today. In order to help students develop a strong understanding of the meaning of the Constitution, there are several strategies that could be used to develop strong content vocabulary knowledge. To help develop content area literacy, one strategy is to pre-teach or break down difficult or unknown words in high-level, content-specific texts before reading. In this strategy, to help develop content-specific vocabulary, a teacher should select several words or phrases that might be difficult for students to easily understand while reading. For this example, we selected the words domestic tranquility and posterity. It would be important to select these words before teaching and providing the opportunity for students to read the text. It would then be important to prepare a strategy to explicitly teach the vocabulary terms. We know that information is stored in our memory in many forms, including images, sounds, experiences. Instructional strategies using more than one modality are intended to stimulate the brain in new ways, which helps increase our understanding and also develop memory. Engaging in drawing, kinesthetic activity, physical modeling, and movements are among some activities that teachers use to help students form their own mental pictures or visualizations while reading. Using multiple modalities can support improved memory and recall. One great way to build vocabulary is the use of multiple modalities in a strategy we call Say, Move, See. We selected the terms domestic tranquility and posterity as possibly difficult terms that could impact the comprehension of the U.S. Constitution's preamble. This can be adjusted to teach in an online format or an in-person course. When completing the Say Move See strategy, the teacher would ask students to stand up from their seats. Once students are standing, the teacher asks students to chorally repeat the vocabulary word, domestic tranquility. The teacher and the students say the word together chorally at least twice. The teacher then introduces a short and simplified version of the meaning of the word, as well as a hand motion that goes along with it. While standing, the teacher asks students to chorally say the word and the simplified definition while students do the hand motion. A teacher would model first, then ask students to do it chorally while doing the hand motion. A teacher would say, domestic tranquility, peace in the country, while holding up a peace sign as the hand motion. This process is repeated at least 3 times so students hear the word, say the word and the definition, and do the hand motion. Once this is done, the teacher can put up an image to further create context, if applicable. You would complete the same strategy with posterity, which means those who come after us, like our grandchildren. Since content area vocabulary can be extremely difficult for students to understand and apply, providing opportunities to break down difficult content area texts is a strategy that can improve content area literacy. After pre-teaching vocabulary, a teacher might provide the opportunity for students to complete a close read and annotation of a content-specific text, partnered with text-dependent questions. This strategy combination was developed by Doug Fisher and Nancy Fry. Close reading is a method of literary analysis that focuses on the details of a written passage. In close reading, students often read the text multiple times and use annotation symbols to help develop understanding of a difficult text. Annotation symbols may vary, and it can be done manually using a pencil and paper or an online program. Annotation symbols might include underlining the major points, circling keywords or phrases that are unknown, using question marks when questions arise during the reading, using an arrow to make connections within the reading, and using notes in the margin. In a close read, a teacher would first establish the purpose of the reading with the students. Then the students would complete several reads of the text. During the first read, students read independently and then talk to a partner to check for understanding about the meaning of the text. During the second reading, the teacher leads a discussion of the reading to have students share out confusing parts or aha moments they had while reading. During the third read, students answer text-dependent questions, revisiting the text as needed. For the text-dependent questions, students answer teacher-constructed questions about the reading selection as they read it. Students review their answers within a small group or with a partner, and then share them with the whole group. Pictured is an example of an annotation of the preamble of the U.S. Constitution. The next innovative strategy would be to include virtual reality to bring further meaning and context to students. For example, using VR, students might tour Independence Hall, where the U.S. Constitution was written. Before this activity, it would be important to develop background knowledge about the U.S. Constitution. A teacher might partner a VR activity with teaching the U.S. Constitution to build interest and support learning. Further, this could be presented early in the unit where students use this as an exploration or an inquiry-based activity. It could also be completed at the end of the unit to affirm teaching and allow students to examine Independence Hall and learn more about the authors of the document. Similar strategies could be completed in a science lesson. For example, in biology, a faculty member might want students to read a text on the Hardy-Weinberg principle. Once the professor has selected the text, they might complete the see, move, say strategy with key terms like allele, genotype, and gene pool, then have students complete a close read of the content-specific texts. Additionally, since the Hardy-Weinberg principle is heavy with content-specific language, a professor might include an additional strategy to complete online flashcards with the conditions or assumptions for the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Further, students might also explore the meaning of the variables p, q, and 2pq before applying them in mathematical practice. Pictured is the front of online flashcard and the back of an online flashcard, and then also how that might look if students did it in person on paper. Finally, a teacher might establish an opportunity for access to inquiry-based learning in science using virtual labs or simulations. Inquiry-based learning is learning that is based in investigation. Consider including virtual labs or simulations to engage students in inquiry-based learning. For example, you might have students investigate what happens in a population when Hardy-Weinberg assumptions are violated. We would love for you to consider what strategies you can apply in your context. Many of the strategies presented can be adjusted or modified to meet the needs of different grade levels, different content areas, and skill levels. We would love to challenge you to implement at least one research-based instructional strategy to increase opportunities and access to literacy instruction. Thank you for your time.